Well, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy Ryan again with another edition of Clutch Sports Talk with me, your host, Ryan Flowers. Hope you guys are doing all right, hanging in there during this whole COVID and all the other things that are going on in this world. Hey, but I got another great episode for you guys today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. For those of you who want to catch up on all my content, hopefully most of you, or actually all of you should want to catch up on all my content. You can look me up on the Anchor Podcast app, Apple Podcast app, Tuned In, and also now on YouTube as well. So go ahead. Do me a favor. This is what you need to do. It's real simple. You go right here. You search Clutch Sports Talk with me. You go ahead and subscribe. See, I only got 18 right now. I need you guys' help, man. I need to boost those numbers up. So I'd appreciate you guys if you go ahead, go on YouTube, subscribe, hit the little alert button so that way you will be alerted every time I come up with any new content. So appreciate you guys. So let's get into the show. So for those of you who watch sports, obviously you watch sports if you're listening to this podcast, Major League Baseball and basketball have returned. So very exciting to see some takeaways from it. Basically, baseball looks good. I love it. I'm glad. Not the fact that just baseball or any sports is back, because other sports have been back, but something about baseball, it hits right when you see it on TV, especially certain teams, arenas, things of that nature. So I'm just glad to see baseball is back. NBA as well. Full season. The regular season has not started. I guess they're called startup games. I think they're called or restart games. So teams have been playing against each other, but the games have not counted yet. I've caught the Lakers games, a few of the Celtics games, and the Kings. So good to see those guys back out on the court. Some players are missing from some teams, and I'll get into that here in just a second. But so far, so good. It looks like everything is good to go in regards to basketball coming back here shortly. So I'm glad to see that. So with both of those sports, Major League Baseball and the NBA, there are no fans in the stands. Well, obviously for good reason, I guess, during this COVID-19 pandemic, which I'm okay with. When you're watching baseball, some of the networks have figured out a way to pipe in music. If you watched Fox for Major League Baseball yesterday or the few days before, they actually put in digital fans into the stands. So if you're watching, look closely. They're not just cardboard cutouts. They're actually digital computer-generated fans. So when a fly ball, a foul ball goes out into, the first baseline, you got these little computer-generated, like you're playing a video game, which is kind of neat. It's cool. But behind home plate, you see the cardboard cutouts. Very interesting. But the one thing that I found kind of funny, or just a little fun, the piping in of the music. The piping in of the music. That's something that's really hilarious to me because it doesn't sync up correctly. I think, in my opinion, the guy hits a home run. It's just like just a generic crowd. Whereas in a real life situation where there's fans, that place is going nuts, especially opening day, So I guess, it's all a work in progress. They're going to try to do their best to keep things as current as possible, or, just try to stay on point. But I'm just glad that baseball is back. So that's always good. Just from watching from home, I literally from Friday, today's Sunday, I'm recording on a Sunday. Friday actually Thursday, beginning Thursday, I have not watched so much baseball. I can't even remember the last time I watched so much baseball. I watched every game on Thursday, beginning to end. Friday, I was able to just watch the Dodgers game because I'm a Dodgers fan, being from LA, growing up in LA. Yesterday, I watched baseball again. And the funny thing is too that I watched some other games only because I had money on it, and I bet, I gamble on that. Nothing crazy, nothing. I'm not mortgaging my house or anything like that, but it always adds a nice little incentive to the game. So far, I came up. I lost on what's today? I lost yesterday. I didn't win. Well, actually, I did win some money yesterday, just a little bit, but I lost a little bit on Saturday. But it's all good. But watching the games from home, man, it was just exciting, man. I just sat down, got some good food, poured me a little drink, and just watched baseball, and it was just amazing to watch the games. Basketball, on the other hand, it was good to watch. Don't get me wrong. I think maybe because the games don't count yet, so it's teams are still kind of playing around with the rosters, the depth. their rotation. So it's not actually quite competitive yet. I mean, it's competitive from a standpoint. There's a scorer, there's a winner, there's a loser. But teams aren't really going on in like LeBron isn't playing as hard as he probably needs to be, as he should, but I get it. They're just restarting. They've been off a few months, 3 months maybe. So they're just kind of ramping up before the season actually starts. So I definitely understand that from that aspect. But, back to baseball, things that I noticed, I enjoyed myself. I mean, I really enjoyed myself. The other thing was I'm okay without the fans. I'm okay without the fans because it's competitive sports being played on the field. Eventually we'll get back to having fans in the stands. I was talking to a buddy of mine not too long ago, and he asked me if I felt that would fans be allowed back into the arenas. Eventually I think they will. So, but as for right now, I think we can just be glad that we can get a little something. Other countries are starting to introduce some of their fans back into the stands. I know in the Korean Baseball League, the KBO, I read an article the other day that, excuse me, that they were going to be letting about 50% capacity of their arenas be filled with fans again. So that's a good thing, especially within 2020. So that's good. That's good. But we'll just have to see how things go in this country. Teams that look good, the Dodgers. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Dodgers fan, but that lineup looks tremendous. Hitters 1 through 9. If you follow baseball, there's 9 batters. No pitching, no pitcher. They have a DH, but that lineup is a murderer's row. Another player that looks good, Jacob deGrom, pitcher from the New York Mets, looks strong in his first outing. Total control of the ball, command. I mean, he was just getting dudes out. Another team that looks solid to me, the Padres. Yeah, Padres. Young talent. They got a young infield. They signed Manny Machado last year. So that's a team in the NL West that I actually am not concerned, but I'm interested to see how they're going to develop. So other than that, baseball looks good to go, right? Now to the NBA as far as coming back. When I watch those games, for those of you who are familiar with Summer League, I live in Las Vegas, so I've had the opportunity several times to go and attend Summer League games. That's what it reminds me. But the only difference is that you got LeBron, Giannis, these other superstars playing in the games, unlike Summer League where it's just mostly the rookies and guys trying to make the squad. So if I had to put it best, what it felt like watching with no fans, just like in an arena, I think they're in Orlando, but they're playing in some, I don't know. It might be some type of an arena, but it's like a makeshift arena catered to set up for NBA. But watching it from home just reminded me of watching the Summer League, which is, I'm okay with that. Summer League is not a bad product. It's interesting to listen to the guys calling out defensive sets and switches and things of that nature. You hear a lot more player chatter, involvement, the referees talking a little bit. So that's always a cool thing to hear. But it's not bad without the fans. They're not even piping in music or anything like that. So they're just letting these guys play. They may distort the audio just a little bit because, they don't want to hear guys dropping F-bombs and this and that, cussing and all that. So I get that from that aspect, but overall, I think that, it's going to be even better when they start playing games for real, which I believe takes place next week. So next time I talk to you guys, I should have some games to kind of talk about and digest, and you guys can listen to me while I talk about that as well. So NBA is back. Cool. Good to go. I'm so glad for that. So we'll just have to see what happens with that. So moving right along, for those of you who keep in touch, we're going to stay in basketball here just a little bit right here. Mikey Williams. For those of you who don't know who Mikey Williams is, here, I'm just going to show you guys a quick highlight clip of who this kid is. Sorry, there you go. Mikey Williams, right? The sophomore guard out of San Diego, which is right on the border there for those of you who live in Southern California or those around the country. He is the top rated player at his position for his age. Now, he recently dropped on his social media that he has a list. He's compiled a list of 10 colleges that he would like to attend. A kid like this has probably over hundreds of college coaches, chomping at the bit to sign this kid. And as you can look some of the highlights, the incredible athleticism this kid has is just amazing. He's definitely going to be a pro. In my opinion, he's the next Zion Williamson. He has a tremendous following on social media, and like I said, you just look at him. He's only 16, 17 years old. He still has, 2 more years of high school basketball before he actually will be able to play. Or maybe he decides to go overseas by then. Who knows? But the reason why I'm talking about him is because he just dropped his top 10 colleges that he would like to attend. And noticeably, now they had some powers in there, the Kansases, the Dukes, and all that. But he actually had a majority of HBCUs, which is historical Black colleges. Now, in the past, historical Black colleges do not garner these types of players, but with recent commitments from another few blue chippers within the country, they're starting to get attention, and especially what's going on in the country right now with the whole Black Lives Matter movement. A lot of kids are looking towards going to these HBCUs to just try to bring them more attention. So a lot of people are excited about that. Here's the thing. This kid is not going to play more than one season. We just know that. So you can look at it two ways. This kid is a tremendous talent, as you can see. But here's the thing. He can go to an HBCU, and that probably will help them for 1 year, for not even a year, just a few months. And it may attract another type of blue chip kid. I'm all about that, which is cool. Or he can just go the regular route that all these other kids do. They go to Kansases, the Dukes, the North Carolinas. It is what it is. But it's interesting that a lot of Black colleges are back in the mix, only because a lot of them have suffered over the years. Not that long ago, we had some really good athletes that came out of Black colleges, especially in football. A lot of Hall of Famers, Jerry Rice, Shannon Sharp, just a few to mention. So NBA, there probably was some. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of any really. I think Scottie Pippen, I don't know if Scottie Pippen went to HBCU, but he went to a smaller school as well. But here's the thing, Mikey Williams, a star like this, it's definitely going to get the attention of a lot of people, and a lot of people are happy about it, which I'm not mad about it. I mean, it's cool. It's nice to see. Maybe he goes to like a Howard, somewhere like that, or Southern University or Grambling. I forgot the list exactly. Probably should have had that up for you guys, but there are at least 4 or 5 out of that top 10 that are actually Black historical colleges. So very interesting for him. Because like I said, he has a few more years to decide. A lot can change since then. I know everything right now with the whole BLM, it's exciting, it's new, and for a young impressionable kid, he's just trying to jump on that train right now, and maybe in 2 years he might change his tune. Who knows? I hope he does what's best for him and his family. But we all know this kid is going to be a pro very soon in the next 4 years, because he's not staying in college. So if he's just going to go to college, I guess it doesn't really matter what college he goes to, because he's going to be a talent that the NBA is going to want to have anyway. So it doesn't really matter. So if he cannot go to one of those big schools, so be it. But he won't be seen a lot on TV. And if I'm him and I want to make the NBA, sometimes making the NBA, it has nothing to do with your talent skill. It's if people see you. Zion Williamson, look at him. He went to Duke, and I think he benefited from going to Duke, because why? Duke is on TV 3-4 nights a week. And you're constantly being reminded of this kid. Boom, there's Zion Williamson, like every day, But if Mikey Williams goes to, I don't know, some Black college, maybe we forget about him. Maybe his talent isn't that great. Because there's been a lot of guys in the NBA who aren't even that good, but they get drafted based off of the school that they went to. Now, which there's some truth to that. And, I look at football where you got a guy from Alabama versus a kid from, I don't know, Wake Forest. More people are probably going to think that kid from Alabama is better from the kid from Wake Forest. Both Division I football schools, but we know Alabama's pedigree. So, but Mikey Williams definitely has a decision to make. So hopefully he'll make the right one, and we'll just see what happens from there. So, but hopefully I think either way it's going to be good for him. He's just going to have to endure a lot of people coming at him left and right. But he's a young kid. Hopefully he's got a good camp behind him. We'll see what happens from there. So moving right along, recently, if you don't know, the Washington Redskins dropped the Redskins name. So excuse me, they're formerly known as the Washington Redskins. Now, drum roll, they are now known as the Washington Football Team. Yes, the Washington Football Team. Is this permanent? No, it's not. Daniel Snyder and his Brain Trust group decided that they didn't want to be too hastily and just change the name to something that they didn't really want to be branded as. So in the meantime, they just said, we'll drop the Redskin moniker and we'll just be called the Washington Football Team. Now, given, our society now, people are always mad about something. And of course, now people are upset about this. So here's the thing, people. They dropped the name, okay? You got what you wanted. They dropped the name. Is it going to be permanent? No. Does the name suck? I guess, but I understand from a business standpoint, they're going to be double dipping, triple dipping here because number one, they still have a ton of Redskins gear they have to sell. They got to get rid of it. They're not going to just pack it up and send it off to Africa somewhere for some kid in some small, village going to wear the Redskin shirt. They're going to sell that stuff. And why wouldn't they? They're going to try to make money off of that while they can, And plus, that's going to be part of like football nostalgia. Hell, I might even go buy some Redskin stuff because, and I'm a Cowboys fan. Obviously, we play in the same division, but that's going to be a part of history. Whether it's bad or good, it's still a part of history. So they'll make money off of that. They're going to make money off of this Washington Football Team. No matter how outraged people are or think the name is stupid, they're going to sell that. People are not going to not support this team. I don't care what people say. Every year, people are like, oh, I'm not supporting them anymore. And you got a few that do that. But honestly, most people are going to support their teams no matter what. You're a fan. And you know how you spell fan? F-A-N. And you know what other word goes with fan? Fanatic. That's what you are because you're a fanatic about your team, right? So they're going to be – and then when they do change the name, the third dip, you're going to want to buy that gear. So I get where they're coming from. They're going to be trying to make as much money as they can. The team, will they be that great? I don't think so. But they're going to be trying to make money hand over fist with the Redskin name, the Washington Football Team name, and whatever name that they come up with. So I'm not going to spend too much time because I talked about this a little bit before on another episode. But here's the thing. They changed the name. Just be happy. Does the name suck? Maybe. I don't know. But I get why they're not going to, jump wholeheartedly and name the team the Red Tails or the Wolves or whatever. Like, they want to make sure whatever name that they come up with, they can make money off of. Because at the end of the day, excuse me, as an owner, that's what he's there for. I mean, he's there to win championships, but he's a businessman. He's going to make business decisions with his team. So the Washington Redskins are no longer, they are now the Washington Football Team, which, hey, more power to them, because, hey, that's just what we're doing. So anyway, moving on, we're going to stay in football. Jamal Adams, formerly was a safety from the New York Jets. He was just traded last night or yesterday to the Seattle Seahawks. I think it's a good trade. Both parties got what they wanted and what they needed. The Jets needed players. They needed more picks. And so therefore the picks will actually help them out because now they have more picks to go and get players. So that's why I think that, it actually worked out for them by getting the draft picks. Now, some people think that it was, too rich of a trade for the actual Seattle Seahawks, but Seattle Seahawks, they're a team that is ready to contend right now. And I'm going to show you guys some highlights of Jamal Adams. For those of you who don't know, there he is, number 33. He is a top 3 safety in the league, top 10 player in the NFL, I think, maybe top 15. But he can cover, he can play the run, and he's a physical. He's a dog. He's a guy that you want, and he's going to fit perfectly in the Seattle Seahawks scheme. Now, the terms of the deal here, I think it was the Seattle Seahawks are giving up 2 first-rounders this year, and I think 2022 or 2021 draft. No, 2022 draft, and a 3rd-round pick for this year. And they also gave up Bradley McDougall, their strong safety. So, but it works out for him because now he's going to go and get a starting job or try to compete for a starting job in Seattle. But as you can see here, this guy is a freak. I mean, he loves to hit. He can cover, make plays. He's a playmaker, and that's what you need. Now, like I said, a lot of people don't agree with the trade. They think that, oh, a first rounder, that's too much. But here's the thing. When you're a team like Seattle, they're right there. What's a first round pick? You're going to be picking late anyway, okay? And on top of that, Seattle's done a good job picking in the later rounds. A lot of their top players were later round picks. So just because you have a first round pick doesn't automatically guarantee that you're going to have a surefire Pro Bowler, all pro type player. It doesn't work like that. Hopefully, your scouting department does a great job, but to get a guy like this who is a top talent now for a first, 2 firsts and a 3rd and a player, you got to do it. Now, if it was the other way around, to see the Jets weren't going to pay this guy, and he wanted out of New York, so he started talking about his coach, Adam Gase, talking about he wasn't the guy for this team, and he already said his goodbyes to New York. He wanted out of New York. They weren't going to pay him, and rightfully so. If I'm the Jets, why would I pay him? We have other needs that we need to address, and by paying him all this money, you can't address the rest of their defense. You can't address any more offensive weapons that Sam Darnold might need or the offensive line, things of that nature. Now, you don't have to worry about this guy. He would have been a cancer in your locker room, and you got a good deal. 2 firsts and a 3rd and a player. Come on. That's a good deal. And even for Seattle State, for instance, they got a great deal as well. I feel like I said again, they're one of those top 5 teams. I mean, there are a few teams in this league that you can name that are Super Bowl caliber type contenders. Obviously, the defending champs, Kansas City, Baltimore Ravens is another team that comes to mind. Seattle's in there. Tennessee maybe. I don't know. Maybe they just had one good year, but like I said, the Niners, obviously they made the Super Bowl last year. It's a small window. The Cowboys are not in that window yet. I have to see them play some games. They have the talent, but I wouldn't put them up there as like a Super Bowl contender. So to me, maybe it's about 3 or 4 teams. Like I said, I think Kansas City, Baltimore, and the who did I say? Kansas City, Baltimore, and the 49ers. Excuse me. had a brain fart there. But there's not too many teams that I can say right now that can actually go out and win the Super Bowl. And Seattle. So Seattle will round out the top 4 teams. Because any team with Russell Wilson is going to be good. And Russell Wilson has shown the propensity to not have the best talent around him as far as his offensive line and still make plays. So Russell Wilson, to me, and now you add a guy like this on your defense, which their defense was already solid. Now, they're not going to be able to keep Jadeveon Clowney probably because Adams is, he's going to garner a lot more money, and they just don't have the money to sign him. So Clowney probably going to be out unless they find a way to restructure his deal or he wants to come back at a lesser rate to win. But definitely Jamal Adams is a big get for that team. So it's going to be exciting. I think that they're going to be a really, really good. That's a tough division already, man. And now this got even tougher with a guy like this. I mean, look at this guy. Look at him. He's a complete dog. And you got to love that. I mean, he rushes the quarterback. I think he has the most sacks of any safety right now in the NFL. He brings the boom. So I think overall it's a great trade for both parties. So that's concerned. So, but we'll just have to see. The games have to be played still. So, but either way. But anyway, everybody, that's my time. I hope you guys enjoyed your show today. I did not record the actual podcast today. I just went ahead and just jumped into the the video YouTube. So, but please subscribe to me on Spotify as well, Apple Podcasts, Tuned In, and the Anchor Podcast app if you want to catch up on all my other latest episodes. And please don't forget, subscribe to me on YouTube. I need to bump those followers up, and not only subscribe, leave a comment. Hit that alert button so you guys can catch up on all my stuff when it comes out hot and fresh out the oven. And also look me up on Instagram if you want to leave me some likes, comments, and things of that nature at clutch.sports.talk. Appreciate you guys. Everyone stay safe. Until next time, never settle till the work is done. This is Clutch Sports Talk with Ryan Flowers. Let's go.